industrial estate in the Caribbean. And it is, as I was telling someone last night, Point Lisas is to Trinidad and Tobago what Silicon Valley is to the United States.
Wow.
It is like an economic engine.
Okay.
And there are 20 plants in Point Lisas. 20, there are some small plants, but there are 20 large world-scale plants in Point Lisas. And 7 of those 20 plants are methanol plants. And I think about 10 of those plants are ammonia plants. And then there were 2 iron and steel plants, and there was 1 urea plant. So that's how you get the 20.
Okay.
So 7 of the 20 are methanol plants. And of those 7, 4 are now shut down.
Wow.
Right? So, and of those 4 that are shut down, one of them is a plant called the M5000 plant.
Right.
Which was opened in 2005 and which is the largest methanol plant in the world.
Okay.
So it is not an insignificant industry by any stretch. It is a global industry. And Trinidad has been we've been very proud of that industry over the last 40 years. So the closure that we saw happening last week with the announcement coming from Oman that they were shutting down 2 of their 5 methanol plants is a very significant development. It's the continuation of a slide that began with the closure of the ArcelorMittal plant in 2016.
Right.
And continues to this day. So out of those 20 plants in Point Lisas, 7 are now shut down. And the 13 that are running are more than likely running below their maximum capacity, well below their maximum capacity. So it is a difficult period for us here in Trinidad. We have had this, as you say, people may want to know, what is the impact of this on their pocket?
Mm-hmm.
How does it impact the average man?
Yeah.
Well, Point Lisas is a major earner of foreign exchange. And foreign exchange, foreign exchange is the lifeblood of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Every single thing that you see in front of you right now is purchased using foreign exchange.
Right.
When you squeeze your toothpaste on your toothbrush this morning, it is foreign exchange that caused that to be there. When when you bathe with soap in the bathroom, it is foreign exchange that caused that soap to be there. So the vehicle that you drive or the taxi that you take is all. So foreign exchange is the lifeblood of this country, and Point Lisas is one of our main earners of foreign exchange over the years, and that is now in a diminishing situation. It is in a great state of decline, and that should concern us. But why is this? So the question is, what is the impact? Well, the impact is 1, less foreign exchange.
Right,
2,
which already scarce.
now, one of the things that I like to do, Stephen, is that I like to go on the ground and get a feel for things, right? Now, one of the ways to get an idea of the health of Point Lisas is Atlantic Plaza. If you know Point Lisas and Cuba, Atlantic Plaza is at the entrance of Point Lisas.
Yeah, just before you make the bend, yeah.
Right. So that is where you have the pizza boys and the rituals and the churches and
right.
the food court and so on. And that place is, if you had gone there at lunchtime in 2015, you would have to line up for lunch. Right? In that food court at 12 o'clock, at 12:30, you would have to line up for lunch.
Right.
It is not so. Now, when you go there now, it's looking like a ghost town. Right? Many of the stores, many of the food places have closed. And that is a direct reflection of what is happening on the estate, on the Point Lisas estate. So there's job loss.
Right.
So there's loss of foreign exchange. There's lower tax payments. And critically, one of the things that people don't see, a lot of these plants on the Point Lisas estate operate using contractors and operate using temporary employment on a project basis. Like if they have to do maintenance and so on, they bring in people with scaffolding and people with welding plants and so on. So there is a ripple effect now on the contracting community in that part of the country.
Okay.
So that part of the country between I like to use the analogy of the roundabouts.
Uh-huh.
Between the roundabout which is the roundabout as you enter in Point Lisas, and the roundabout in Pointe-a-Pierre in Marabella,
Right.
That strip is an industrial strip. That is connecting Point Lisas to Pointe-a-Pierre, and there's been with the closure of the refinery in Pointe-a-Pierre and the closure of what is about 40% of Point Lisas.
Yeah.
You have a lot of economic dislocation in that part of the country, and it's having a ripple effect throughout the whole of South and Central Trinidad. So you asked about the impact of the closure of those two methanol plants, and I just wanted to give that very holistic point of view.
Yeah.
There's also a psychological blow that was dealt to Trinidad and Tobago. The M5000 plant, as I pointed out, is the largest methanol plant in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Trinidad and Tobago known for?
Wait, in the world, you said?
As the land of the steel pan, the hummingbird, the scarlet ibis, and the largest methanol plant in the world.
Okay.
It is something which is almost like a badge of honor for this country that we have the largest methanol plant in the world. But now that plant is shut down. So I just gave you the impact economically, socially, psychologically, and so on this country.
Because I don't think I had absorbed the fact that it was the largest methanol plant in the world, eh?
Yes, so one of the 5 plants owned by Proman. So just to give an idea, so there are 7 methanol plants in Point Lisa.
Yes.
2 are owned by a company called Methanex from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 are owned by this company called Proman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of Proman's 5 methanol plants, now 3 are shut down.
3 are shut down.
And of Methanex's 2, 1 is shut down, the Titan methanol plant.
Wow.
And the reality is that, as you pointed out, this slide began before COVID-19.
Yeah, well, I know they're going to say COVID-19 and the economic effects of COVID-19, and COVID it seems to be the scapegoat for almost everything these days.
I don't know how long we in this country are going to continue to use COVID as an excuse for what I see as the economic decimation of this country.
Right.
And I use that word in a conservative sense because the Minister of Finance in the 2019-2020 budget said that the economy would contract by 6.8% in 2020.
Right.
I have seen figures from other persons like Mariano Brown and Raja Hussein that suggest that negative 6.8 might be a conservative number. But now we are into April. Today is the 6th of April,
yeah.
2021. And I know that because there's a big football game today.
Right.
Liverpool are playing Real Madrid today, right?
Yes.
So we are into the 4th month of 2021. I can tell you, there is likely to be no growth in 2021. Natural gas production even.
Right.
And I want to say this very carefully. If there is one thing that could give you an indication of the health or the illness of the economic body called Trinidad and Tobago, it is natural gas production.
Okay.
Natural gas production, we have not had official figures from the Ministry of Energy for 2021 as yet.
Wow.
So I was able to get some preliminary figures by speaking to persons in the companies. Natural gas production could be down by as much as 20 to 25% for the first quarter of 2021. Now that is a significant drop.
Wow.
Right? So that is going to have a big shock, a big jolt on this economy.
Right.
But the issue in Point Lisas is not only natural gas supply.
Uh-huh.
That is one of the issues. If you speak to the companies in Point Lisas and you read what they are saying in the newspapers, there are 2 issues. The first issue is what I just spoke about, shortage of natural gas. The second issue, which the companies will tell you is more significant, is the issue of price. What they are saying is that the price that the national gas company is putting on the table is a price that they cannot operate at.
Right.
right? Because that will render them uneconomic or, loss-making.
Right.
So that is at the heart of the problem. And the question is, how do you fix that?
Okay.
And you fix that through leadership. Now, I made a point a few days ago on Facebook that there are things in this country in short supply. And,
Yeah.
and it's not only natural gas.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that, yeah.
Right? So the government and more so the Ministry of Energy and whoever else have to sit with all these persons, all these upstream BPs and Shells and EOGs, have to sit with them and say, hey guys, here's what's going on. Point Lisas is dying because they can't pay for that gas.
Mm-hmm.
You all need to find a way to drop your price. And if we have to work with you, we will work with you to drop your price. If we have to drop taxation levels or drop royalty rates, let's do it. Because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question, what do you want? Do you want to drive through Point Lisas in 5 years and see tumbleweed blowing across the road? Or do you want to see industrial estate which has survived
Right.
this storm? So when you look at the whole value chain, and value chain is sounds like a fancy term. When you look at that whole buying and selling of gas, there has to be a redistribution of value along the value chain, and there has to be give and take and compromise. And if it is that the government and the NGC has to compromise, and the companies that supply the gas, the BPs and the Shells, if they have to also compromise to allow for that industrial estate to survive, then that is where the leadership is required.
Right.
Right? Because you see, I have always held a view that in business there's a commercial solution to everything, and that's a general business principle. Right? That when reasonable people sit around a table, there's always a commercial solution.
Right.
Right? So that is where I think leadership comes in.
But that was not cutting it, but that was my first reaction when Proman said they could not negotiate a price with NGC to keep these plants up and running. Because I'm saying, okay, if this is the largest methanol plant, and they're willing to, well, not willing to, but they're being put in a position where they have to shut down their largest plant.
Yes.
Then, I mean, where is the compromise? You understand? Where is the real negotiation? Because, I mean, you can't allow things like that to happen. It has to be a give and take, especially given the position of the economy today. And the fact that, I mean, I said it in the, after I heard the budget by the Minister of Finance, and this is the truth. The Minister of Finance in his budget presentation has not told this country how he is going to dig himself out of, or the country out of this, out of the economic peril that it's surely headed to. He has not said how he's going to create revenue streams to attract foreign exchange or earn foreign exchange. He has not said how he's going to encourage foreign direct investment in Trinidad and Tobago. He hasn't said anything like that. All he's done is come with new taxes. And you can't tax a country or people into prosperity. It doesn't work.
No, and you see, the thing is, the longer we take, and you see, this conversation could go in a different direction, which is not, this is not bad, but the longer we take to recover from COVID, the longer we take to rebound from COVID is the longer we take to get back on our feet.
Right.
Right? And I am seeing where Jamaica and Guyana and Barbados are well advanced in terms of putting COVID behind them.
Okay.
Right? I have said, I've gone on record many times as saying that Jamaica has to be one of the most innovative economies in the Caribbean right now. So I think given that the situation at Point Lisas is, as I just described, a situation of decline, natural gas production, significant decline in 2021, and we seem not to be getting up as fast as we should from the COVID from the COVID blow. Then 2021 and spilling into 2022 is going to be a difficult time for this country. The thing is, Stephen, when you speak, and this is to me the biggest issue, when I speak to my fellow countrymen, it is as though they have resigned themselves to the fate that they see before them, that they give up. People in this country feel that there is no hope.
Yeah.
Because you are not hearing anything enlightening from any leader in this country,
Yeah, and we have a media review that's coming.
And the thing is, people are intelligent, and people know when they're anytime you hear the Minister of Finance speak, everything is okay, Everything is okay, everything cool, everything, the economy is going to turn around next year.
Yeah.
When these natural gas projects come into fruition and so on.
The energy sector is booming, Madam Speaker. The economy is booming, Madam Speaker.
What we need is a sharp dose of reality.
Yeah.
And only when you have defined reality of the country, then you could plan your way forward. But if you continue to live in denial, and there's a joke about living in denial, they say that denial is a place in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
But if you continue to spin these stories that everything is okay and don't worry, man, the plants will be back up soon.
Yeah.
When the price of ammonia and methanol rebound and so on, don't worry, be happy. Then we cannot begin to chart our way forward.
Forward, yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
And I'm saying that we have serious problems in Trinidad with the economy. They are not insurmountable problems. They are problems that can be, overcome with the correct leadership, with the correct sort of, conversations with the companies in the upstream, with the correct compromises in terms of the royalties and the taxation and so on. And we could have, if the government takes that approach, Point Lisa survives to see another day.
Right.
But at the rate at which we are going, it is difficult to escape the reality that the country has deindustrialized, right? In the last 6 years. The refinery, I don't see the refinery starting up anytime soon. If you see that refinery starting up sometime soon, that's news to me.
Well, that's the other thing, the refinery and I mean this whole deal with Patriotic falling through after he said that they had answered all 10 requirements and it was just a matter of putting pen to paper and signing off on the deal. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they come and they backpedal on it, and now we're back to square one where we have a refinery that is down, that has been shut down, and we don't know what we're going to do with it.
And you see, I think sometimes there are people who live in North Trinidad who don't come south at all, right?
Well, I could attest to that. I know, yeah, town people, right? A lot of town people right across the lighthouse.
Because you see, if you did, you would understand what is happening between Couva and as far as Point Fortin.
Point Fortin.
That is the industrial belt.
Yeah.
Point Lisa, 20 plants, Point Appear, the refinery, Point Fortin, Atlantic LNG. That area that I just described, that whole belt stretching down from the middle of the Gulf of Paria to Point Fortin. There's been a lot of economic decline in that area.
But now, as you mentioned something that I wanted to ask you before we run out of time, right? As you mentioned, LNG. All right? There was an article that I came across on the 20th of March. I don't know, well, I know you would know about it.
Train 1 has been down.
Right.
Train 1 has been down for, I think, since last year, December.
Right.
The Minister of Energy said that in an interview with Curtis Williams a few weeks ago, he said he expected Train 1 to restart in April. So we are in April.
Right.
And we're waiting to see Train 1 will, in fact, restart. I am told by people in Atlantic that 5 months is the longest an LNG train has ever been down.
Wow.
Right? So that they have poured some caution onto that whole narrative about the start in April that, we have to look and see. But again, the question that arises is, where's the gas going to come from? Because we are running. Trinidad and Tobago produced 3.8 billion cubic feet of gas in 2015. We are now producing about 2.8 billion cubic feet of gas. So we are short, and significantly so. So the question is, where's the gas going to come from to restart train 1?
Right? Because
so
go ahead.
That train 1 continues to have a question mark over it.
Yeah, because the headline...
If it restarts, then that's great.
Yeah.
Right? Because it means revenue, it means that, people important benefit and so on. But as it stands, the train has not restarted. So,
but the thing I wanna mention with that, right? This is what the headline read. I'll just read you a little piece of the article, okay?
Yes.
The headline was Trinidad LNG industry in decline as Guyana eyes pipeline and regional export potential, because now we have competitors to the south with everything that's going on in Guyana. So I'll just give it like the first two paragraphs of the headline, where it said Trinidad and Tobago is one of the region's largest producers and suppliers of liquefied natural gas, LNG. However, the Twin Island Republic has been experiencing a steady decline over the years, and now analysts are reporting a more worrying future for Trinidad's LNG industry, one that would likely see the country having to turn to other suppliers. And on March 18th, S&P Global Platts held the Central American and Caribbean Energy Webinar, and lead analyst for the Americas of LNG Analytics, Ross Wino, pointed out that Trinidad and Tobago's declining LNG sector is largely due to poor infill drilling results. And according to Wino, I hope I got his name right, Puerto Rico is one of the territories that has been experiencing a strong recovery in LNG demand so far this year.
Right.
You want to take it from there and explain what's going on there?
Well, in a nutshell, he just says everything we just said. We have less natural gas being produced in Trinidad.
Right.
So we're producing less liquefied natural gas. Right? So in a nutshell, our exports of liquefied natural gas have fallen at a time when, as the guy pointed out, Puerto Rico's demand for LNG and other countries' demand for LNG is on the rebound.
Right.
Because, as countries begin to emerge from the COVID lockdowns, they will require more energy. LNG, or liquefied natural gas, is a source of energy. So Puerto Rico is a major importer of LNG. I'm not too sure if we sell to Puerto Rico. We do sell to the Dominican Republic, which is close to Puerto Rico. But the point is that, with the rebounding of demand for liquefied natural gas in the world, Trinidad and Tobago is at a place where it is impaired, or it is limping.
Okay.
Right? With one of its four trains down.
Wow.
So, I like to use these analogies. If you think about the 4 trains in Point Porter, there's 4 wheels on a cart. One of the wheels is clearly not turning, right? So, as I pointed out, there's a solution to all this. But I think it requires, reasonable people to sit down and come up with commercial solution.
Yeah, because, it says here that Trinidad and Tobago remains Puerto Rico's largest supplier of LNG. So...
Well, I wasn't aware that we still supply Puerto Rico, but I could be mistaken. I haven't tracked those numbers in a while. Yeah.
Well, we're just about out of time. I got to go to a break, so I got to wrap it up. But I want to thank you. Amid all the difficulties, a little technical difficulty we have with the Zoom.
No problem. We'll try to fix that the next time.
Yeah, no problem. Because I would imagine that coming up, there's going to be a lot of conversation revolving around the energy sector.
There's a media review coming up soon, so we could always regroup again around that time.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, how wary does Trinidad and Tobago have to be of Guyana?
Well, I don't think we have to be wary of Guyana. They're doing their own thing, and we're doing our own thing.
And we're doing our own thing.
I think what we have to do is we have to figure out how we could offer the Guyanese the benefit of our experience, and we have a lot of highly skilled people, a lot of highly kill companies in Trinidad, and we could be of benefit to them.
Okay.
So it could be, I see it as a win-win for us.
Okay. Interesting.
All right,
All right, man.
Okay, then.
We'll talk further on that, but thanks a lot, Kevin.
Okay.
Great, man. So that is our former Minister of Energy, Kevin Ramnarine. Went a little long with him this morning, but we did have a few... morning to St. Lucia, man. We did have a little hiccup there with the Zoom with the audio. We do apologize for that. But I think people need to understand that, you know, our economy has been energy-driven from since 19 whenever. And what we're seeing developing right now, particularly with that Point Lisas estate, is not positive signs. And like, I think, you know, Kevin said it right. It's going to take leadership and compromise to a great extent to keep these companies going and up and running rather than having them shut down, pack up shop and leave the country. Because that is not going to work well for us. All right? So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll go straight to the phone lines. Take